G'day YouTube, my name's Lance and welcome to Bundy Bear's Shed. Well, look, on this clip we're going to run through fitting a Sparex S61325 hydraulic pump rebuild kit. We're going to run that through the pump on our 1948 TE20 we're doing up. Now, I've stripped the pump down and we've bead blasted the housings, made sure it's all nice and clean, and we've got the Sparex kit to put it all back together with. Now the kit comes with the gaskets for the main pressure chambers. It comes with the new pistons, new bushes in the centre. There's a new bush for where the PDO shaft drives up through the back of the pump. It comes with this is the old style pressure relief valve. This comes with the later style pressure relief valve. It comes with new valves for your pump chambers. So anyway, look, follow along. The idea of this is so you can have a go yourself, and follow along. I'll try and make it as easy as I can and putt along step by step, so hopefully you can have a go on your own. Okay, in our kit we get a new piston, and we just check that that's nice and firm in the bores. It's got to be firm but going under its own weight, but not slop around too much. That feels good. Check around for any wear inside there. Now on your valves, I'll give that a bit of a rinse. Now on the valves you come with this little guide, and that sort of sits like that. This holds the inlet valve open. There's a big spring here, holds the exhaust valve open, and then this goes down the top to hold it all into place, and that acts as a guide for the spring. Now on mine this little piece stayed in there, I couldn't get it out, so that's no big deal. We just put a bit of oil down the hole. I like to use a set of pointy pliers. And sometimes it's easier just to put the guide in first, and everything else will slide down along it. There we go. The guide's in. You can just see the silver tube in this hole there. Okay, so now we pick up the inlet valve. You sit him down onto the guide. Then the inlet valve spring. The exhaust valve, it goes down onto that guide pin, and that makes sure that the everything is true. The seat is true to the seat inside on the valve. So you can see just the top of the inlet valve here. That's going nice. You can push it down to the seat. The exhaust valve, it's sitting down there nicely. The cap goes on, and this is one of your new caps. This has a copper washer sealing it. So once that goes down, you do both banks the same, and then this bolt here, it goes down and holds it all in place. That's all there is to it. There's 4 pistons. There's 2 on this cylinder assembly, and there's 2 on the other side. They're all exactly the same. They have a brass plug sitting in here, which is still in this old one. Make sure the brass plug's tight and sealed up and everything. The brass plug was, when they were doing the assembly or doing the manufacture, they were just looking at getting the drillings all the way that they had to. So anyway, we'll put our valve chambers together and we'll come back. Well, there we go, there's both valve chambers done. Now, if you see down inside the hole there, you can see the top of the valves. Just make sure everything looks the same so you know everything's in the right place. This one here has been bead blasted, this one's just been cleaned. I didn't really want to bead blast down the bores and all that. I thought it probably wasn't best practice to do that. I didn't think of it till after I'd done this one. I'll have to give myself a good talking to. So look, what we can do now is bring the main housing over, and once you've blown the main housing clean, we'll zoom out a little bit. This is the back of the tractor. This is the front of the tractor. So we're on the right hand side. There's a little plug here that screws in here, and across the front and rear through this gallery here, that's where the oil is. Now, the high pressure oil goes from the control valve here. It works out where it goes and it pushes it out here. So this is an auxiliary service. You can put something else on there, and the oil comes out here, up this hole, up through your gearbox housing, and that's how the oil gets to the front of your lift cover to do your lifting. There's also a port out here. Now, sometimes you'll see a loader control valve or something like that either come off here, or a loader port actually, or on the back one. And it's still, you have to use your hydraulic lever to lift it or lower it, but you can take this off if you've got your arms down a little bit. Right, we'll start assembling the housing. We have this bush, that's a guide for the PTO shaft. It slides in the back there. And your main camshaft here has a shoulder that takes that. Now, when you have your two pistons here, you'll see the pistons are closer. The piston is closer to this edge than that edge on both pistons. And on your camshaft, on your main drive, you have one side with no collar, another side with a collar, or with a place for a collar, that step there. And this goes in there and helps support it. So first cab off the rank is that the bush goes up in there like that. Then we put the two bushes with the flanges facing each other. Then we get the pistons with the ends where the pistons are closest to the edge go towards each other, and then we bring him, make sure this is at the back. That's where I've gone wrong in the past. In the past being earlier today. So that sits there and you hold it all back. So that seems to hold the piston, or hold the pistons in place and on track. So now we have these little pins here. Now these pins, they support the pistons. So we have to make sure the pistons are up out of the way, and they go through the groove that you saw on the bottom of the piston. You have to lift the pistons up out of the way so that can go through. And you can put your finger in the hole here and help line it up, which is what I have to do. There you go, you can see the pin come out both sides there. So in theory, the pistons are where they should be. Once that's supported, the piston should be nice and close together. We should now be able to get the caps organised and put them on. Okay, first up, the gasket. Make sure the gasket goes on the right way. The holes will line up the wrong way, but you'll have a pump that won't work very well. So make sure that's the go. Line up this housing. Get him somewhere about where it should be. And try and start one of the pistons in the holes. And you do have to hold your tongue right for this exercise. It can be a bit fiddly. I've got to change hands. Okay, that piston has started. We've dropped off that cam at the back again. There seems to be something that happens a lot. I'll try and hold that back. Keep my gasket in place. There you go. That's one in place. We just have to make sure our gasket is sitting up over the dowel properly. Check that our holes are lined up there. That's good. Just a tap, you don't have to knock it through to China. Now there's long and short bolts. At this stage I usually just go for one each corner. And that just holds everything in line. I should have my nut gun here. Got the hands in the road a bit, I'm sorry. Used to work in one way, then you got to work around the camera. So. Right, so for the moment, that's one piston and cylinder assembly in. Now in theory this should all line up, so we'll put a bit of oil on him. We'll put the gasket on, making sure the holes are lined up. Look at that, one of my pins come out while I had it tucked up the wrong way. This housing goes in like that. The holes should line up. Just a bump, just to make sure. And once again, we'll make sure the gasket's lined up. We'll put a small bolt in here where there's not much thread. Alright, I'll get all the bolts in here. I'll get this all tightened up. That still wants to turn nice and easily. So I'll get these bolts tightened up and we'll come back. Right, we've just got all this buttoned up. We've got all the bolts done. It's nice and free here. This turns over by hand. You can see the piston moving back and forth here. That's a good thing. Now if we move around to the back here, this is the old type control valve that they had a bit of strife with and they brought out a new model. So this is our new model. We have a seat down in the end there that it sits in, that this goes up against. And that should be nice and tight. Don't over tighten it and muck up the adjustment. That's all finished there. Now in our pump we're also going to fit an S60057 hydraulic control valve or hydraulic pump control valve. Now look at that beautiful new valve, but it's missing something. Spot the difference. It's missing the bar here, so it's as simple as just popping that pin out. Disregarding the old one. Look, that had a bend in it anyway. That wasn't good. There's another one we had here too. But look, with our new one, we need to remove this pin. Now to hold it up, to put the arm on, that's that little pin that's bent on the other one. You can put a punch up its backside, bring that down, and pop the clip in. You can see a couple of lines on the end of the valve there for holding it there. So with this, we just make sure it's clean. I haven't got any rubbish off my fingers on it. Look at that, beautiful. Couldn't wish for better. So that's about it for the pump. Now in the S61325 kit, you also get a pump gasket. So you get a pump mounting gasket. Because you have to have the side covers off to spread the arms on the control valve, you get two side plate gaskets with it. Because you need to pull the PDO shaft out, you get a new PDO shaft gasket. And also you get a new drain plug gasket that sits on the drain here. So it's a great kit. That's all you should really need to know to fit it. I might just go and grab a PDO shaft and put up the back, and just to give you a bit better picture of what it looks like. Okay, just to give you some indication of how it all works. This goes onto the back of your gearbox. Then when you engage your PDO, it actually slides a collar down over the front of this shaft. And this shaft then turns, and in turn, that turns your PDO. So that's why you've got to have your PDO going to have your hydraulic pump working. The shaft just should pull out the back. This surface here is the surface that sits inside the bush, which you could do with a bit of oil. And so when you put your PDO in, and once you get the shaft into that rear bush, you should have to jiggle it a few times and then it'll work its way right forward. So there you go. That's fitting, oh, there we go. That's fitting the Sparex S61325 hydraulic pump overhaul kit to an early pump. Now being an early pump, it doesn't have the oscillating valve or anything like that. So, well, there you go. There's fitting the S61325 hydraulic pump overhaul kit to our 1948 tractor hydraulic pump. We fitted, everything that we fitted came in the kit except for the S60057 control valve. It wasn't in the kit, but the later model relief valve came in the kit. All the gaskets needed, your side gaskets, your PDO gasket, because you have to pull the PDO out to do the job. Even a new drain plug gasket where the drain plug goes up in underneath here. So look, that's my take on putting the pump together. These videos are to encourage you to have a go on your own. It's not as scary as everyone would have you believe, but have a go. Just try and have a go. Take the video out into the shed or do something. But look, that's all we have on the pump at the moment. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, thanks for hanging with us. Please subscribe to the channel if you find the content handy, and put a few comments down below. Yeah, you might make a few new friends, who knows. And if you know how to do this a different way, or I've missed something, or you know a bit more about it that I don't know of, put it down here. It's all about learning and sharing knowledge. So that'll do for now. We'll catch you later, eh?